as you said, Imam Ibn Masha said that the interpretation of the Quran lies in Imam. But in Imam there are enemies. So where are they trying to lead the Jama'at? That is a dilemma that I am facing. Missionary says, Quran says this and Quran says that. Alright, we don't dispute, we agree.
Yeah, Quran is Allah.
Absolutely. But what is the meaning behind that? You said the meaning, Imam said the meaning is inside Imam.
No.
Now, if there are parts of Imam which people perhaps have not understood, or people have not come across, and it is possible, nobody can be 100% conversant with every single revelation made inside the Imam. Now, one of the burning questions that has existed for so many years and exists today is whenever the Imam mentions the idea of either past life or future life or present life, and there are disputes.
Unfortunately, the present trend of Lahiri is away from Imam, and that's why they cannot understand Quran.
They would fight it in the Shaitan. They would say that you are saying Imam says this. Then they would bring Quran and say there is nothing in the Quran. But Imam says the meaning of the Quran is in the Imam. So where is the reconciliation? That's what,
that's why I say that if we read Quran, I say read Quran, not the tilawat. Tilawat is you simply recite Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Alif Lam Mim, ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم. You are simply reciting for the sake of sawab. But what he says you don't understand. There are 27 ayats in Quran, 27, speaking about past life. Allah says, Kunta amwatan, you were dead. Now, how can you be dead without life? If you were not living at all, then the word dead does not apply.
So,
Kunta amwatan.
Before you died, you must have lived. Only then can you get death.
That comes to the person or to a thing which was existing. The destruction of this, break it, remove absolutely stresses, that is the death. So if God says that you are dead, so what does that mean? He gave you life. It means that you are living before me. And at one other point Allah says that this is not your first life. There are absolutely clear-cut things. But 99% Muslims, they read Quran only for the sake of sawab. They don't understand.
Now these particular ayats have some of our peers interpreted it in the Ginans.
In the Ginans, yes. Now there is another way. Allah says, there is nothing painful, sorrow or problem without your hand. Then again he says, in every action you are responsible. When he says that you are responsible, Allah is not responsible of your any problem. If you don't believe that, so it means that you are right, Allah is wrong. It means that Allah is unjust. Suppose there is a boy, a child is born without one leg. Allah has made it. Yes, of course, Allah has made it. But does Allah do injustice? So here man stops. If you say yes, then Allah becomes zalim. Allah is not zalim. Then what is the next answer? You are responsible. But how can this boy who is born right now,
who is innocent,
when did he commit this sin? Naturally in the previous life. If you don't believe that, then Allah is zalim. And Allah is not zalim.
That's what we call in philosophy a tautology, where you take responsibility because there is a conflict in an item of faith. You can't say you believe in God and you say now, because I don't believe that this boy could have committed a sin, that God is unjust.
So God is not unjust. He on the contrary is the most loving, most compassionate.
So we do say, if a person is born blind, or is born with some defect, or is born whatever the cause may be, it is due to his own hand that he is born like this.
Exactly. Now Allah again says, there are so much absolutely simple, but you must take it. Allah says, لَيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانَ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى. No ambiguity. Nothing will be given, good or bad, both, to a human being unless he makes effort or unless he commits either sin or virtue. لَيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانَ. Absolutely clear cut, nothing. You are responsible. If you have $1 million in your pocket, well, Allah has granted you, but because of your deeds.
A certain deed.
And if you are a pauper, so Allah has made you, but because of your deeds. It's a law. Like magistrate puts a thief in jail, and it is the magistrate's order that that fellow has gone to jail. But magistrate is not his enemy.
He's enacting the law.
He's enacting.
I think, hopefully, in our Tariqa board meeting, if we are able to generate a dialogue,
Which must...
Yeah, responsible and sincere dialogue. I think it can help a lot to clarify matters. Because
sorry, Rumi was not an Ismaili. I mean, I say he was an Ismaili, but not of the Jampujit Ismaili.
Yeah.
Not a Khoja. There was no peer who brought Ginan to him. Now he says, from where I'm coming? Well, I'm coming from eternity. There I was. Well, I was dust. In dust. Then from dust I turned into a small amoeba. Then I turned into insects. Then I came and evolved in other animals. So he gives all those stages of the samsara. Now I'm insan. And from insan, I will become a farishta, an angel. Which peer went there and taught him Sanskrit? From where this he deduced? Naturally from Quran.
One Alwaiza, in explaining this particular verse to the teachers, she was saying that this has nothing to do with evolution or dasavta. When Rumi says that first I was this, I was a stone, then from a stone I became a tree or plant, and from a plant I became an animal or a monkey, and then from monkey I become a man, and from a man I will soar even higher and become like an angel. She says she was interpreting that this is the transformation of your soul, who was like a stone and this and that, and now it will become like an angel.
Imam Sultan Ahmad Shah has very simplified this thing in his Farman. So if we bring these two things, so is she more than Imam Sultan Ahmad Shah?
But some, they think they are Muslims. This is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But I'm surprised that sometimes when you hear statements, and then you say, but how is this statement logically to be followed? Because, and I said it with due respect, because you know, if we are discussing a topic under closed door, we can say anything amongst ourselves. But when you stand in front of the Jamaat and you make a statement in the Jamaat, tomorrow it will be your turn to stand there and you will say something according to your understanding. But it's the same Jamaat. And you are going to either lead or mislead the Jamaat. And I do not believe that in matters of foundation and principle that missionaries should have any contradiction. You can have your own style, your own way, your own example. You can have your own way of expression. You can have your own way of appeal. But the principle which binds the faith, that cannot be your own or mine.
Food must be the same, but either it is in a bowl or in a plate. Okay. The first Pir came to India was Pir Sadhguru Noor. Sadhguru Noor was sent to India by 18th Imam Mustansir Billah. Before that, there was never a Pir in India. That means no Imam. Father of Imam Mustansir Billah was Imam Zahir. And grandfather of Imam Mustansir Billah was Imam Hakim. Prior to Pir Sadhguru Noor, back 2 generations back, Imam Hakim never sent any missionary to India. He himself never came to India. He never read Sanskrit or this or that. He stands in a big Maidan in Cairo. It was near, Sphinx. Sphinx, near that place, known as Gaza.
Yes, in Egypt.
In Egypt, in Cairo. Imam Hakim, in a gathering of more than 200,000 people. So he made a khutbah, a speech. So he said, I have come to this earth 9 times before, and this is my 10th time. Why did he say that? That he came 9 times before, and this was his 10th time. About 100 years after that, Pir came to India and they said that the small avatar is Mawla Ali. He did not learn from Brahmins, he brought them from the Imam.
But missionaries are saying, they are saying, when you use the word avatar, the brain is Hindus.
That is the mistake. You tell, he says, Andle ko chandar nazar na aave. Kena soinapati, you make so many arguments. Muni sati sati, he will never understand. And same is the ayat in Quran. Allah says those who are blind in this world, they will remain blind in the next world.
I wish that in some of our forthcoming rising meetings, Maulana Hazar Imam last year, he answered this question of reincarnation and rebirth to the Tariqa board chairman. And the question was asked to Maulana Hazar Imam that there are some dispute going on into the teaching circle about these things. And the matter was whether to retain or remove some of the jinans. And Hazar Imam categorically, I am paraphrasing, but in case of doubt or dispute, we can consult the guidance. But the sense I understood and got, Hazar Imam said, look, whatever was taught in previous generations, it belongs to us. And we are not going to disown whatever was taught. What does that mean? You cannot disclaim what was a claim in previous time. You can't say that something was said 200 years ago, it was the truth then, and because you're living in 1990, it has ceased to be the truth. This is how I interpret it. So you can't disclaim or deny what had happened there. if that is the case, and as Imam said, that I have advised my spiritual children all around the world, if you are from that part of the world, you maintain your traditions, whether it may be of the Masnavi or Mankabat or Qasidas or whatever. If you belong to the Indo-Pakistan subcontinent, you have your Ginans. You maintain your Ginan. That is the tradition which you follow. But as Imam said, there is no question of relinquishing anything in those teachings.
It also covers Ali Allah.
It also covers this whole idea of avatar and so on.
Absolutely.
So I am hoping that the chairman of the Tariqa board, maybe in some of the meetings, will bring forth this guidance. Because if Imam says tomorrow, take this kind of books and we don't want anything to do with it in this generation, we're not going to use it. But if Imam says no, you can't disown or disclaim, these are your teachings. In our country here, though we will inshallah one day become multinational,
Inshallah.
but still we are not going to deny our essential original teachings from which our stock came from.
This is the root.
These are our roots at least. It may not be the roots of Syrian or Irani Ismaili, but it is the roots of Khoja Ismailis. And some people have even misinterpreted to the fact that Hazim Imam said, well, remove the Ginans and put Qasidas or put these Masnavis in between. I don't think Hazim Imam said that.
I told Mukhi Yarif last year when they started bringing someone for Qasida. I said, Mukhi sir, I have written Qasidas published in the Ismaili and Al-Islam. There are so many other missionaries who have written Qasidas. There are Isnashis, there are Sunnis, they have also written Qasidas. Now, which Qasida you are going to recite here? So he stopped. So first decide which Qasida, which Qasida.
There is one this book, right? Brown book. There is this one book, Brown Book of Qasidas.
By whom?
It's printed, I guess, in India.
Maybe printed, but by whom? Qasida written? Qasida, Tariqa will not write in Qasida. But Qasida by whom?
Oh, they are by Imam Muslim, Islam Shah, some of them are by Nasir al-Islam.
Islam Shah, Imam Islam Shah never wrote any Qasida.
Oh, there are some Qasidas, I know that book.
Maybe.
Some of them are by Abdul Salam.
Imam Abdul Salam maybe, not Islam Shah.
And then I guess a couple of Imams more.
First decide what Qasida. There isn't any dispute about Qasida, but which Qasida, by what?
There is one book from the Tariqa board from Pakistan, I think.
Yeah,
it's on Mankabat. The name of the book is Manakib something.
Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah. Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah in 51 went to Recreation Club Bombay. And this Farman is printed in Kalami Imam Ibn. He said, "This Sadardi ne તમને જે 10 અવતારની વાત કરી છે એમાં કોઈ ખોટું નથી. તમે આજના મિશનરીઓને કહું છું કે ઇસ્લામિક ભાવનાથી 10 અવતારને સમજાવો."
So there was no denial.
There is no denial, no rejection.
But he says, explain it from an Islamic perspective.
Yeah. And I did it for 2 hours in John Mills Jamaat Khana. 10 avatar from Quran. And there is mention, when this Farman came to me, I was puzzled. I nearly half a dozen times gone through book Quran. I couldn't find.
Because if Imam say, explain the Islamic bhavana pramane, so following the principles or the method of Islam, that means it must be in the source of Islamic revelation.
There must be something. So then when nearly 5-6 times I couldn't find, so I made a tasbih. I said, Ya Mawla, you are not wrong. My eyes are wrong. You show me where is this. So one day in my dream, I was reciting that ayat of Layal. And then when I got up, I read it. Well, Allah has mentioned in a very nutshell. Then I explained it.
Which way?
Surah Al-Sahar में है, Surah Al-Fajr में.
Surah Al-Fajr.
हाँ. इसमें खुदा says that by he gets the pledge by 9 nights. कसम खाता है खुदा 9 रातों की. वो 9 रातें कौन सी? वो 9 रातें 9 अवतार की. And I have given the explanation how this ayat is.
About the 10 nights. Yeah.
9 nights.
9 nights.
9 avatar passed. Okay. Remind me next time in Vaidin's meeting. I might elaborate a little bit more. It's a lengthy thing. I do not touch now. Pisaruddin, he was Ali Rasul. All peers, they are from the family of Imams. No peer has ever been appointed outside his family. So, the Ali Rasul, they cannot teach us Hinduism. And we cannot say that they cheated us or they were a hypocrite telling us one thing, actually the other thing. It can never be.
Some people even deny that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was our first peer.
Murshid Awwal, even Muslims write, Murshid Awwal Hazrat Nabi Muhammad.
In our old dua we say Awal peer, Nabi Muhammad Mustafa Rasulullah. But people are looking at it from a different perspective. So if Prophet himself was a peer, I say according to my own mind, if we consider him to be the peer, then his Jinan must have been the Quran.
His Jinan is Hadith.
Hadith.
Hadith. And undoubtedly. Hazar Imam is also peer.
Yeah.
Sultan Muhammad Shah was peer. And many Imams, they were first peer and then they became Imam.
Then the position of peer, according to Imam Muslim Sirbila in Pandiyat.
Beautiful.
Then, if that is the position of peer,
he says he is only second to Imam.
He says that the peer is Ashraf al-Makhluqat. He is the highest in creation.
And that is Nabi Muhammad?
If the peer is highest in creation amongst all created beings, then the teachings of the peer, either Peer Sadruddin or Peer Shams or
any peer,
and there he is referring to this peer, is he not? And if those peers have taught us this truth about life, death, birth, reincarnation or rebirth or whatever it may be, can it be false?
Never.
Muslims don't accept the idea of Imamat and Qiraat. They just say,
Muslims don't.
I say, who cares about those Muslims?
We have nothing to do with their ideology.
They can follow whatever they've been doing for the last 1400. I'm talking about us. I'm talking about your children. I'm talking about my children and their children. So what kind of heritage they are going to be born with to understand this truth? In our generation today, we have begun to deny it. We are abusing the peers. If Imam said the peer is the highest in creation, so we are branding their teaching as Hinduism. We are disputing the teaching.
It means that we are rejecting Hazrat Imam Singh.
And we consider our own work to be more important than that of the peers. So how is it possible that we are going to transmit the truth to the next generation? That is the concern I'm expressing. Our parents, they maintained their staunchness and vitality and faith because they learned and were taught and followed what Imam and the Peer said. Because of them, today we are following this faith. Not because of our own intelligence. Of course, now that we are a little bit more evolved, we make a choice. But our choice is a choice out of our knowledge while we are following. But what about our children? and their children, which truth are they going to follow? No dispute if they say that they are been trained or they are specialists on the Islamic side. Alhamdulillah, fine. But that specialization is incomplete from the perspective of our tariqah. In other words, they may have learned parts of the Quran or even the whole Quran, and they may have learned a lot of philosophy and this and that. But the essence of the faith, which is derived from that Quran, and if you believe in the Imam, he says, it is in the Ginan. But the Ginanic part you have not studied. So what right does it give to a person to say, I'm going to stand and guide the people?
It's a shame because, a lot of people coming from there, the way we can write and rituals, where they can Ginan. So they don't have the confidence to do rises in science because of that weakness. So, there's a need for them in other areas, like maybe into religious classes.
Unfortunately, such people have been invited by me many times, but no one comes up. They don't want to learn anything more.
You should be in the institute.
People like you and Lani and so many other because right now we have Sani and Farooq Topan who are very good, but they are limited in their
Once Ibu talked to me indirectly. I said, Councillor, I'm much busy in the work of Ginans, and I don't want to go anywhere else. I want to remain with me so that I may work for Ginans.
But then if you were there passing this heritage only of Ginans on, the part that they read,
it could have not been done.
ALWAAZ is doing that work right now in 10 volumes. Just taking the whole Shastra and translating in Gujarati.
Although it would have been easier for me there because a lot of stuff and memes are there, which I lack here. But then I don't know whether I did right or wrong. I'm happy with my work now.
You see, the newly graduates, the new coordinators, those who come and so on, we have absolutely no dispute with them in any way. The thing is this, that from their perspective, they may have studied something, and fine, we respect it. But the problem that I find, that they make statement of denial against the other side.
You just spoke very well. You said they do not know what glass is, and they are rejecting it without knowing it, without studying Ginans. They are rejecting it, and that's absolutely the same thing happening.
That's exactly what I'm saying. And I said to them, look, why do you have to deny it? Where does it say that you must deny it? If it was to be denied, why is it that every day we are singing it in Jamaat Khana?
It's ignorance.
So it brings a little feeling in your heart, you see, in your mind, and you say, what kind of minds are we dealing with? See?
They read Ram's name or Krishna name, and they say, oh, this is Hindu. But you go into this and see what he's saying.
It's a very serious problem, because now we have a number of people into the institutions. They don't have that background, and yet they are responsible to teach our teachers and teach our students.
And teach contrary.
And what is being transmitted is not necessarily what is required. If you look at all the people who join from the institute, whatever the causes may be, good or bad, but what I'm saying is that they were trained into the Ismaili Institute. The aim of the training was for them to dedicate their lives and career to this setting. Try, look at the rate of attrition. Look at the rate of people coming into the system, claiming mastery over all these things, for years and years doing all those things. Now, all the damage has been done, now they want to go, and there you go. Now who's going to repair the damage?
Unfortunately, those people who started teaching at the institute, they were not good Ismailis.
you know, there was a wonderful force of missionaries, you know, that there used to be, I think you gave that example, Missionary Sahib. It's a garden that gives a beautiful aroma. There are different flowers, but the different flowers enhances the strength of the garden. It's not that one is against the other. You see, each one of us have our own flavor, but the flavor should have a common root, and our root is Imam. But sometimes the way this, you know, things go, it's very disheartening. You know? And that's why you don't find some people who I mean, some would deny to come to meetings or to gatherings. What are they concerned about?
Why are you saying that?
You know,
I told him, I said it was interesting.
I'm now the last link of recreation club. There is another man. He is 90 years old, Sikh fellow, Balwani Bandor. But I'm now active, still active, Alhamdulillah. And what we have learned personally in the huzur of Imam Sultan Mubarak, even with other Imams. I want that these things should be shared with the other.
You know, it's people like, I don't know,
See, now there is a new book that has been released. It's called The Ismailis, Their Faith and Doctrine.
From London.
From London. The name of the author is Farhad Daftari.
institute or just outside?
Individual.
He's an individual, but he has made a reference to the institute inside his preface for having received collaboration from the institute.
Already,
Yeah.
except the book, and they have allowed it to release it. They have allowed, they have permitted to be released?
Who?
Institute?
No, but institute doesn't take a stand. I mean, this is an independent.
Oh, yes,
area.
yes.
Yeah. 50 or 60 years. He has integrated it and added new material, but he has pieced together all the important documents. It's a good, readable book. It's a bit scholarly, but I mean, it is readable. It takes a little time. So the reason I mention this is that you see now, a book like this, you see, perhaps not all the missionaries might have time
To read.
to read.
And even to buy.
Yes, $120 Canadian. Is going to become a reference volume in all the scholarly library. Missionaries must know what this book contains.
I think the beginning which ALWAAZ has done from here, I think if it's done religiously every month. Now the committee has been formed.
Yes.
So every month the meeting should go on under that umbrella or whatever, and one person will bring mostly ALWAAZ.
I suggest